I couldn't be found. I'll fly a big home. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm in my office slash fish room. I kind of wanted to give you guys all a kind of a overview of my setup, my tanks, and the fish and plants I keep. And I don't think I'm going to go too in depth on plant care. I'll save that for another video. First up, we have the 5-gallon. At the moment, I only have some ghost shrimp in here. It's mostly just habitat for plants and a few ghost shrimp that are in here. I did have a betta in here. He's currently in a quarantine tank. I'm not sure what's wrong with him. I'll get to that a little bit later. I feel terrible. He's actually the longest living betta I have, but anyway. So, yeah, this is my 5-gallon. This is actually the first tank I started out with. It's a top fin 5-gallon that I got from PetSmart. It comes with its own pump and internal filtration kind of deal. I did some modifications where I kind of took it apart. I really wanted some extra space for aquascaping. So here I have, you can see I just have a fluval hanging on the back filter. It's rated for I think 20 to something gallons, but I have it on the lowest setting. So the flow, it doesn't disrupt the betta that was in here. It's very minimal, but I find it to be more than adequate. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite tanks. I spent a lot of time, scaping it, and the plants in here, I've done a lot to try to keep them in the best habitat for them. So mainly I have a couple different plants in here. I tried my hand at getting a carpet. I would see all these beautiful scapes with these carpeted plants, and I fell in love, so I wanted to try, and this is my attempt. I started with some tissue cultures of some dwarf baby tears, and they have done extremely well. But other than that, I'm kind of just letting it do its own thing. I love how it looks. I would like to get some more shrimp for this tank and maybe just make it strictly a shrimp tank. The betta I had in here was getting it looked ill. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but I noticed that the shrimp were kind of bullying it, picking at its fins and stuff, so I moved it out ASAP. Moving on, this is my 3.5 gallon. It's been doing really well. You can see Ptolemaeus there. I tried to name all my bettas, at least most of them. I did have a piece of driftwood in here. I took it out because I felt like it was just taking up too much space. You can see the water sprite and the dwarf brass have just exploded in this tank, and I've done some modifications to almost eliminate all the flow completely. I don't think you can see it in the video, but there is some. This betta is not the best swimmer, so I try to keep the flow as minimal as possible because he likes to just kind of float there. He doesn't really do much. He looks pretty. That's about it. I trim this tank every now and then. I do have I have 3 types of plants. I have the dwarf hairgrass, which doesn't look so dwarf. I have the water sprite that just loves this tank. I swear, all the other water sprite I have all came from this tank. And it populates almost every other tank I have. I do have some Anubias in here. You can kind of see the root off to the left there, but I kind of just let it do its thing at this point. This tank's kind of its own beast. I don't really have to do much other than my regular water changes. There is some algae on the glass, but from time to time I'll clean it. Otherwise, I actually kind of like it. I like the kind of natural look and feel of it. So I was using this Phoenix LED light with the baby tears, and they didn't do as well. Honestly, they love those IKEA lights. Who would have thought some like $10 lights would have been so effective? Lights are probably one of the most expensive components of this hobby. And here I am with $10 lights lighting some of the most, what I've come to find, some of the most difficult plants to grow and yet this $40 light is, I mean, it's great. This is not the stock light that came with this tank. I wanted to upgrade. I didn't like the stock one that it came with, which is funny enough, I'm actually using it on another tank, which you'll see here in a little bit. This is one of my newer builds. This tank is probably only about 2 months old, if that. You can see a variety of fish. I have neon tetras, I have white cloud mountain minnows, I have a couple juvenile angelfish that are kind of growing out here before I add them to my 55. You'll see here why in a few. I wanted to make sure that everyone's, you know, around the same size for when I do add them. But they're doing great in here. I love the marbled angels. They are gorgeous. I'm sure by now you have also seen that there are what looks to be a couple betas, and you would be correct. This originally started off as a beta sorority. So I have 3 in here at the moment. I did have a 4th who is in another tank recovering from some nipped fins, it looked like. So she's actually doing really well. I don't know if I'm going to add her back in here. She's in her own 10-gallon tank at the moment, enjoying her solitude. But I'm running a Fluval C4 hang on the back filter. I love it so far. I was able to fit all of the media that it came with along with a bag of Pyrogen, which I run on 3 of my tanks at the moment. So far I love the filter. It is a little noisier than the other ones I've had. I've noticed it does rattle a little bit, but that may be because it's at the top and against the wall for support. You can see that I'm sure you can tell that there are quite a few different species of plants in here. The pothos is one which is doing great. The roots are just spreading like wildfire. You can see them up here. They're just, yeah, it's healthy. It's doing well. And it was a fraction of that size when I cut it off. I just bought literally a $2 pothos plant from Home Depot. I rinsed it off and cleaned it up a little bit, and they are all thriving in every tank that I have put them in. So I'm very, very happy with that. You can see that I have different various slate stone in here. I love the look of it. I wish I had more. I probably will buy more. I don't know if I'll put more in this tank. I actually really am happy with the aquascape in here, even though it's not really formulated. I kind of like the kind of wild look. I don't really, besides the 5-gallon, I haven't really tried anything very specific. I kind of just get the parts and, you know, put it how I feel it's going to look best. But I love it. It's pretty. Fish are happy, and that's what's important. And then for the lighting, I just have this Aqueon light. It came with this little remote where I can change the colors and the white level and stuff. It also has a built-in timer, but I don't use it because I have a timer that's built in for all the lights. So 9 to 12 hours is my typical. It depends. But at the moment I think it's up for 12. Just because I get home, and by the time I get home it's normally dark outside, and I like to see the tank when I'm home. At least for a little bit before it goes dark, and they normally expect me to feed, all the fish expect me to feed them, so they all come up like puppy dogs and make sure they get their food and their full bellies. Before I move on to the 55, this is where the sick beta is. You can't really see him. He's hiding underneath the almond leaves at the moment. I did do a treatment of TC tetracycline. I don't know exactly what is wrong with him other than he's just not moving much. He has a lack of appetite. There's no other symptoms other than that I was able to tell. He just generally looks ill, but actually he's been moving around a lot more in the last day. than he has been in the last week. So perhaps there's some improvement. I've been doing I've been adding Epsom salts. I did a treatment of TC tetracycline. I didn't see any improvement with that. So I started using some Melaflix, and I want to say that there's been some improvement, but I'm not giving up on him. He doesn't look like he's suffering, other than he's just generally kind of ill looking and not moving around much. But I have seen some more activity. I saw him swimming around here earlier today, so let's hope. Let's hope that Beta Blue gets back on his feet. Or I should say fins. One more pit stop before the 55. This is just a little hang-on box. I've used it before for as a QT tank for in the event that I needed to quarantine something for, you know, treating sick fish. You can see there's some algae growing on it. That tells you a little bit of how long I've had it on here. You can see the fry. These are Dalmatian molly fry. I did have some guppy fry in there, but they somehow got through. They were so tiny, they ended up getting through the little mesh guard on the end, and I'm pretty sure the angels had a field day eating them, so unfortunately. But these guys are almost big enough to release back into the main tank. I want to wait a little bit longer for them to get a little bit bigger. I see that they finally are starting to show some spots. I want to say I probably have about half a dozen in there. And then eventually they will be added to the main tank. So here we are. Here is the 55 in all of its glory. So I'm sure you can tell off the bat that the fry container is not the only thing in there. I do have another container in there with my male German blue ram. He is also not doing so hot. I'm not sure. He is showing signs of dropsy. He's not extremely bloated, but his scales are definitely pine coning a little bit. Not as much as you may see in a typical dropsy case, so I think I may have caught it pretty early. I'm treating him with some salts, and I calculated the amount of Melaflix that should go into a container that small. So I did that. I'm not really seeing any kind of improvement or him worsening, so I don't know. I don't know what's causing it. I don't think it's any kind of bacterial infection, but it's so hard to judge these things sometimes. And it's not this isn't really a topic I like talking about or bringing up, and I debated about it, but I know this is kind of part of the hobby, and it wouldn't really be the best representation of what I do in my hobby, and it wouldn't really be fair if I showed just the good parts and not share my experiences with this. But besides that, I'm not sure what else to really do. It's so hard. I don't want to just keep using all these different drugs and medicines and in hopes that one of them works, because I've gone down that path and I spent a lot of time, you know, looking into it and debating what to use. Should I use this one? Should I use that one? And I haven't had any really luck. Once I see a fish with their scales starting to pine cone even a little bit, normally I've had only one successful case treating a electric blue ram that I had, and he recovered from dropsy, but he literally passed a week later from, I don't know, it could have been an infection he had. I don't know. It's the one thing that bothers me the most with this hobby is dealing with the sick fish, because it's not something that you necessarily think about or expect when you get into the hobby, but it is a big part of it. But I find that prevention is the best medicine, so I do weekly water changes, and I top off my tanks every other day, making sure that the water levels are stable, water parameters are good. I don't normally test unless I see something that is amiss. I might do monthly water tests, but normally everything's pretty stable. That testing frequently only makes me worry more, so I haven't really had a need to really do more than that. Here we have the other 5-gallon tank. This is my Fluval spec 5-gallon. The moment the only resident is a betta and some snails, obviously, and one very satisfied assassin snail. So in here we have Mythos. He's actually rather quite stunning, though he likes to hide a lot. He doesn't really like me or other fish or people. Well, there he is.
Ever since the day that you went away, you've been...
This is also the longest standing tank I own. I haven't done a whole lot with this tank, to be honest, other than regular maintenance. I mainly have different types of ferns in here. I do have some water sprite at the top as well. And I do have some algae growing in the glass I need to take care of, and then it looks like I do have some kind of algae growing on the ferns that I need to clean up. As I said, I don't do a whole lot with this tank. It's extremely well established. Levels are fine, even for a small tank. I don't have to worry about this tank. Originally this housed the betta and the guppies when I first got them, but realized that just was not working out. The betta would chase the guppies constantly, and I think he's much happier kind of just doing his own thing at the moment, and I don't really have any other plans to ever change it. Last but not least, we have the two 10-gallons. I originally set these guys up, sorry, it's kind of a mess. I don't know if any of you recognize this, but this was one of the King of DIYs projects that I had. It was a brine shrimp hatchery. Works really well. I just haven't had a big need for it at the moment. I originally set these two up to breed shrimp. However, I never ended up getting the shrimp. I recently got a new job, and I've been so busy. I managed to set these guys up, let them cycle, and so at the moment, I don't know if you guys can see very well. You can kind of see them. I got 3 frying here. I'm not exactly sure what they are or how they even got in here. My theory is that they came in on the sponge filter, which I had set up on the 55, and I'm not sure what kind of fry they are. The more I see them grow, the more I think that they're rainbow fry, but I have no idea. I'm very excited to find out what they are. I just saw them swimming around, and they were tiny. They were just like microscopic. I could barely see them. I've been feeding them daily. I've been using this protein flake food. It's a protein-based brine shrimp flake food that I've been using, and it's been going well. You can see I do have some algae on the glass that I need to clean off, but and yeah, you can probably tell that there's some of the original Java fern and baby tears. And again, I have just a couple of these cheap IKEA lights, and plants are doing great, minus this this type of sword. I do see some new leaf growth back there. It's hard to tell, but they seem to be bouncing back. There's actually, I did mention I had the female betta. She's up there. Her fins are actually doing much better. I can tell that they're growing back in. They look much more full than what they were. I think she was just kind of getting beaten up in the other tank. So at this moment, this is a 10-gallon home dedicated just for her. But yeah, so I I converted my closet to extra tank space because I kind of just ended up having more than I had space for, or I wanted to have more than what I had space for. So I've expanded my closet space to be more of my madness. So that concludes my fish room tour. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe. I will have much more in the future. I will do my best also to keep you updated on the patients that I have. To be completely honest, I debated on whether or not I wanted to videotape any of this at all. Well, I did have sick fish, but you know, I realized that that's part of the hobby and it's part of a learning experience, and you know, you can't have an authentic channel or, you know, go through this hobby specifically without both. There are going to be good times and there are going to be some really bad times. Let me know what you think. And again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share the video, and I will catch you later.